Yes, it's that time again. We have a new version of the DJI Fly app. This is 1.10.0 and this is applicable for the DJI RC controller. It's applicable for Android and iOS devices as well because DJI have launched a brand new product. This is the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. Now on this video I'm going to be taking the DJI Mini 3 Pro with the RC controller out for a test flight just to see if there's any new features, how it performs, if everything is okay. Now if you are watching this video and you have the DJI RC controller and you are having a problem updating it due to the fact that you are getting a server error message, then do not worry because I have made a video exactly what to do and how to update it using the DJI Assistant 2. So I will leave a link to that video at the bottom of this one so you know exactly how to fix the problem. So one of the biggest new features of the DJI Fly app 1.10.0 is the now ability to use the DJI Goggles 2 and the DJI Goggles 2 Integra. This is absolutely so cool for those of you that do have potentially an avatar, just want to use it with the DJI Mini 3 Pro just to basically play around and see how it goes. Or if you don't have a FPV at the moment, you can potentially just buy the goggles and the motion controller and get them to work with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So effectively you're getting two drones in one. You're getting a cinematic camera drone and you're getting the ability to fly FPV. Of course, this isn't going to mean that the Mini 3 Pro can start doing acrobatics or anything like that, but it's certainly going to give you a whole new experience. Now the next huge thing from this DJI Fly app is of course support for the new DJI Mavic 3 Pro and Mavic 3 Pro Cine. Of course, if we have updated to the DJI Fly app 1.10.0 and updated our firmware on the RC controller, all we need to do is just swipe across on the connection guide and you can see it now supports that new drone. And I'm sure there's absolutely tons of you that are rushing out to go and buy this drone, especially as it doesn't cost any more than the original Mavic 3 did. But apart from those two features, looking through all the menus, it does appear that there is nothing new additionally for the DJI Mini 3 Pro. This is obviously the drone I'm testing on this one, and I will follow this video up with a test flight using the DJI Mini 2 when I do get chance. But please be aware, of course, when you do ever update the firmware, there is a good chance that all of your settings will have reset. So you will need to go back into your DJI Fly app menus and just make sure that all your preferences are exactly how you want them. So let's just have a bit of a flight then and just test to make sure everything is going exactly as it should with the DJI Mini 3 Pro on this latest firmware and DJI Fly app. So first of all, as you can see, one of the major issues I am having, and this is something that is an inherent fault with the DJI Mini 3 Pro, I never actually got around to sending my drone back to DJI, but it looks like I'm going to have to, is this lens fogging issue. And DJI have acknowledged this and they do generally take the drone back for repairs. I do need to get mine sorted. So first we're just going to test the quick shot functionality to make sure it's doing exactly what it should do and that it selects a target. Now as you can see, it is, once I switch into the quick shot mode, offering a huge amount of subjects the drone thinks I might want to follow or select as a subject. If I actually try and select that, it's not actually selecting it. So what I'm going to do is just revert back to trying to draw on the screen a box around the subject I'm trying to select, and of course as you can see again it's not selecting properly, and I do actually believe it is down to the fact that the lens is foggy and it can't actually make out the subject as easy as what it should be able to. So while I'm performing this quick shot, I'm just going to test one of DJI's built-in safety features. You see, if we have a look at our safety tab within the DJI Fly app, our maximum altitude is set at 120 meters. However, when we go back to our quick shot, you can see I'm flying at 60 meters. Now when we are selecting our rocket quick shot, what we can do is we can select the altitude with which we want it to rise by. If we add those up, 60 and 80 is more than 120 meters. So what is going to happen if I execute the quick shot? Will the drone actually stop at 120 meters or will the quick shot override? So let's try that little test now. Just I thought it'd be an interesting thing to point out when we're doing this. And as you can see, as the drone is actually rising up to the extra 80 meters to perform the rocket quick shot, you can see as it does reach that 120 meters, the safety within the DJI Fly app does actually take precedent, and of course it stops, doesn't allow us to go any higher. So that's a really cool safety feature built in from the DJI Fly app there. So while we're here, what we're going to do is just test the return to home. Return to home is always an interesting one just to make sure the drone, if you do get into any difficulties, can make its way all the way back to the home point so you can of course land the drone. Now there's two options when we do press the return to home button. We can of course land or we can return to home. Land isn't really going to be suggested given the fact that I'm currently flying over water. So So what we're going to do is hit that return to home button. Now, of course, return to home is a great built-in safety feature, because if you do ever lose orientation of your drone, or you do panic, or you're just generally not that experienced, and you get yourself into a situation where you look down at your controller for a moment and then look back up and you can't quite locate your drone in the sky. At the end of the day, this is a great feature to just regain your bearings. Of course, you can use the compass or the map, or you can just press to return to home and the drone will return all the way back to the takeoff point or where you actually launched it. Now, as you can see, it's not overly accurate. The Mini 3 Pro does not have precision return to home, so it can be a couple of meters off. And as you can see, if we continue to allow this drone to descend to its home point, it is a little bit off, and it would most certainly land in the water unless I intervened. So let's just cancel that and make sure that we save our drone for another day. Now, this is actually the second battery I've gone through. I've been out flying for quite some time, and I've noticed no particular performance drop between the DJI Fly app 1.10.0 and the new firmware and the previous versions. So for me, everything does look absolutely good. So it's time to end the video with our video conclusion. So that concludes the flight with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Everything looks good and everything worked exactly as it should. Of course, if you do find a bug or anything like that, please do let me know. I've gone through 2 batteries and this basically performed flawlessly, but it has to be said, it is about time I get my DJI Mini 3 Pro back to DJI, because as you saw on the flight, I still have the lens fogging problem, which is an inherent fault with this drone, and I really do need to get that sorted. But ultimately, at that aside, everything seems good to go, and I will follow this up with a flight with the DJI Mini 2 in due course. So if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're awesome, and until next time, see you again soon.